Good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, any questions from what are the topics that we covered? And I received like what are the tasks that I assigned? Like I received from a couple of people, from not from everyone. Try to complete it, and in case if you are unable to do it, and if there are any issues, let me know. Okay, if you are unable to understand anything or unable to write the code, let me know. I can help you with that. Okay, and whoever has sent it, like I'll review it today and like let you know in case if anything is required. Okay.
So
Okay.
I was
Yeah. Yeah.
I was getting an error like whatever I was giving, whether it was ID, it was name or XPath, it was not
Recognizing it.
recognizing it. Yeah.
Okay, actually, did you like maybe there might be some sync issues also. So what you need to do is like try to have this thread.sleep method like whenever you launch the application or whenever you navigate from one page to other page, better to have a wait method so that it will wait and like there will not be any issues in the identifying the objects.
Yeah, I had 3000 milliseconds sleep.
Oh, still it didn't work?
No.
Okay, and did you, if it is IE, did you do all those settings? Like, what are the settings that I asked?
Yeah. Yeah, I did that.
Okay, okay, then probably I'll like try to connect your machine after the class and then I'll see.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's continue with the class and I'm muting you all in case if you have any questions, let me know. Okay. Okay, so let me take a Okay, so like today, like we'll start with the JUnit framework. Okay, so basically, like using Java, like Selenium, whatever that we have learned with the WebDriver, like that's the basic thing that we can do with a WebDriver, like launching the application and navigating to the application and performing some tasks on the application. Okay, so not only this, like with this WebDriver, like we can use all the Java code that we have learned, like creating the methods, like creating the classes, see loops, all these things like we can use. Okay, so based on our requirement, based on the test cases, we can write whatever the code that we want to and in whatever the way that we want to. Okay, and in that, like actually what we have to do is like we can use something called as JUnit framework. See, this is like main method which you are creating in a class, and that means like it's a plain old Java. Okay, so it's a pure Java method that you are creating, and whenever you execute a Java method, like it looks for a main method and it is going to execute whatever the code that is there in the main method. Okay, so without that also, like there are some frameworks that you can use and you can create your automation scripts. Okay, like that there are many frameworks. See, let me open a text pad. Okay, like one is JUnit framework. Okay, and then like you have uh, TestNG. Okay, like that, like there are different frameworks that are available like JUnit, TestNG. So basically what they do is they will give you some better options in kind of reporting, like reporting the results as well as like executing the test cases. Like they have some special functionalities which we can use and enhance our scripts. Okay, so with this, like what we are doing, like we are just like simple, like we are printing it with a system.out.println. Okay, but with the other things, let's say if you take the TestNG, like you can create some specific reports with all your results. Okay, we'll see like how to create the TestNG, and with JUnit, like there are some functionalities that we can do. Okay, so mostly it is used by the developers to debug their code, but as a testers, as a automation testers, we can also use this JUnit framework. Okay, so let's try to create one small framework and try to create some small script and use this JUnit framework with us. Okay, so let me create one folder or like package. See, let's say I'll give it as com dot like test dot something JUnit, click finish, or JUnit demo and click on finish, which will create a package for us. Okay, just simple package. And in that, so now as this is a JUnit framework, like we want to use the JUnit, so we don't need to create a class. So here what we were doing, like we first created a class and we gave some name to it, and inside that class, like it will create the main method. But with JUnit, we don't need to create a class. Okay, and not only that, like see, if we need to associate the jar file. If you go to this, like whatever the project that we created, okay, in that project we need to go to the properties, Java build path, and here we need to associate our JUnit, which we already did it. Okay, so we already associated our JUnit jar to it. In case if we don't have the jar and if you want to use the JUnit framework, we need to associate this jar file. Okay, how we did it for the Selenium standalone server and how we did it for this POI jar file. In the same way, we need to associate the JUnit jar file also. Okay, so let's associate this. We already associated it, and now instead of creating a class, we can create a new JUnit test case. Okay, so now we don't need to create a class. Instead of class, we'll create a JUnit test case. See, and we need to give some name to it. Okay, so what is the class name that we want to create? Like we need to provide the name to it. Let's say I'll give it as introduction. So something J8 introduction. And what the specialty of this JUnit is, like it has some annotations. Annotation in the sense, like see, like it has some classes like that are already created. Annotations. Okay, what these are is, see, first one is @before class. Okay, then you have @after class. Then we have before method, or like we can say before. We can have after, and then we have test. Okay, see, these are the different annotations that we have in JUnit. One is @before class, @after class, before, after, and @test. So whatever the actual functionality that we want to perform, or whatever the actual testing that we want to perform, we need to give it in this @test. So we'll create it now. Okay, so let's go. We'll see each and every class or annotation that we have selected, and like we'll see what it does. Okay, see, the first one is like, and it is giving you an option like which method stubs you would like to create. So we can, let's select everything. Before class, see, tear down, after class, tear down, and setup. Let's say I'll select all of them and click finish. See, it created a JUnit test case for us. And if you see here, see, public class, introduction, like @before class, @after class, like @before, @after, and @test. See, it created all of them for us. Okay, so basically what it does is, see, let's try to understand like one by one. So first one is @before class. So whatever the code that we write in this @before class, what it does is, like whenever we create a class, it will execute this code. Okay, so before creating the class, like it will execute this code. And what will this do is, whatever the code that, like in this we can write whatever the code that we want to. So all that code will be executed before the class object is created. Okay, and in the same way, after class will be executed once you initiate, like once you create an object of a specific class, like this code will be executed. Okay, whatever that is there in the after class. And now before, so this will be executed before each method. See, this test. So whenever you are calling this test, it will execute whatever that is there in this @before, and whatever that is there in @after will be executed after the test has been executed. Okay, so it's kind of a reusable thing. So whatever that you want to do before doing something, we can do it with the help of this @before, or let's say if you want to open a browser, like see for every test, like we want to open a browser. So whatever the code that to open a browser, we can have it in this @before. And once the code has been created, like let's say you open a browser, you enter all your details and click on close button, and then let's say you want to close your browser. Okay, so that part we can have it in this @after. Okay, so in the test you can have actual test that you want to perform, okay, which we'll see now. Like let's create it and see. So @before class, I'll just write some code here. Let's say system.out.println. Okay, let's say in @before class. Okay, and the same thing, I'll put one more system.util. Okay, in @after class code or something. Yeah, okay, like this, after class code, and then setup. So let's say here @before. I'll just first of all write this system.out.println. See, in @before code. Okay, and then system.out.println in @after class. Okay, system.out.println in @test code, something, code or class code, like this. Okay, so let's save this. See, like this. Okay, and like we can have any number of test methods. See, now we have test method 1. Okay, so @before, @class, like you can only have once, and also this before and after. So all these 4 methods you can only have once for that class. But whereas @test, you can have any number of them. See, I can copy this and paste it here. Okay, so it says test and test, both are like same name, so it's giving an error. See, duplicate method test in your type introduction. Okay, so we cannot have 2 methods with the same name. So what I'll do is test1. Okay, see, now the error is gone. So this is one test and this is second test. Okay, so now see, so I'll say in test1 code and in test2 code. Okay, so like this is how we create it. See, let me run this. So now like right click, run as. See, we need to say JUnit. So before, when we were executing the Java code, see, this is the main method. So what it was doing, like when we run it, right click, run as, see, Java application. Okay, so as it is a Java method, like main method is the Java's, so it says Java application. But whereas if you come to the JUnit test case that we just created, see, when you right click and say run as, see, it shows JUnit test, because this is a JUnit test case, so that's why it says JUnit test. Okay, see, let's run this and see. See, all it does is, see, in @before class code. So first it executed whatever the code that is there in the @before, and then see, it executed @before. So first one was the before class, and this is @before method. See, then it executed @test1 code, which is the first test method, and see, then after test. Okay, then again before method, then second method, test2, and after method. Okay, and finally see, after class. So before class and after class, it only executed once. See, here once and here once. Whereas your before and after method annotations, see, they executed before each method. So test1 is one method and it executed before and after. See, test2 is a method, so it executed before and after, like this. Okay, so whatever that is there in the before class and after class will be only executed once, after, like, for whenever we create one class. Okay, But whereas whatever the code that is there in the before and after will be executed for each and every test that we create. Okay, so these are like some of the annotations that we have and use it in the JUnit. So why we do, or what are the benefits with this is, see, let's see. Okay, so let's say like we have different scenarios that we want to do it in this Amazon.com. Okay, so first thing is, let's say what I want to do is launch Amazon, like launch the browser. Okay, then I want to navigate to Amazon URL, amazon.com. Okay, then what I want to do is, okay, after launching, then let's say we want to just click on or check whether the home page is displayed or not. Okay, so I'll just say, see, like check home page is displayed or not. Okay, let's say this is one test case, and then we want to close the browser. Close the browser and stop the execution. Okay, let's say this is one test case, and our second test case is same thing. Let's say we want to launch the browser. Okay, then we want to click on the your account link. See, click on your account link. Okay, like click on the your account link and then enter login information. Okay, and let's say if it is check for incorrectness, check for incorrect password or the username, incorrect with enter login information with incorrect credentials. Okay, and verify. Okay, then close the browser. Okay, so in this, like what we are doing, like we are doing some of the things are common, like for example, see, launching the browser is same here as well and here also. Closing the browser is same here and here. Okay, so in case if you are using the, let's say we are not using any methods and just we are creating one class for each of the test case. So what we'll do, like we'll create one class with the main method and we'll write the code for this. Like we'll create the WebDriver object, then we'll navigate, then we'll check the home page. Okay, and we'll create one more class and we'll create the code for this. Okay, so in these two scenarios, what's happening, there is some code which is being used multiple times. Okay, so navigating to the application, closing the browser, like we have the same code we are using in multiple places. So instead of hard coding, like writing the code everywhere, what we can do is we can reuse it, like whatever the launch and before and closing the browser, we can have in this after class or before method and after method. So once you write it, you don't need to write it again and again. Okay, so we can also do that. So with this, what will happen, let's say when there is an issue in one of the code, let's say for closing the browser or logging out of the application, let's say the developers have changed something, like first it was a logout link and now let's say they changed it to sign out. So what we need to do, in as the object property has been changed, we need to go to each and every class and we need to update it. Okay, let's say if you have in 100 places, we need to go and update in 100 locations, then only it will be effective. Okay, because the property of the object has been changed. Okay, instead with this what will happen is we can achieve the code reusability. Okay, so we can only write the code once and reuse that code wherever, every time that we want to. Okay, so with this, like the code reusability also can be achieved, and we can create some methods and then call those methods in here also. Okay, so whenever there is a change, we only need to go and update at one location, not everywhere, like wherever you are have that code. Okay, so let's write the same thing in this here. Okay, in our class. Okay, so all we want to do is, see, first is we want to launch the browser and we want to verify something and close the browser. We want to launch the browser, do something and close the browser. So launching, we can do it in this @before. So before executing every script or every test, I want to open the browser. Okay, so to launch the browser, what are the different things? First is we need to create the WebDriver object because it's a web-based application and we want to open a browser and a URL into it. So we need to have the WebDriver object that you need to create. Okay, see, we already have that. See, we can copy it. So yeah, till here is the launching the application. Like we can open the browser and we can navigate to that specific browser. See, something like this. Like, okay, so at the rate before I am having this launching the browser, okay, and Internet Explorer, okay, and then now like closing the browser. So closing the browser is just like we can create it using this driver.close. Okay, so I'll copy that driver.close and I'll paste it here in @after, like this. Okay, see, driver, as we are creating it here, like this is a different method and this is a different method. When we are creating a variable here, this method doesn't know. Okay, so this method does not know what is this. Okay, see, so what we need to do is we need to define it outside the class somewhere here. Okay, so that means like whenever we create a variable inside a method, like you can only use it inside that method itself. You cannot use it outside. So for that we need to create a global variable. See, WebDriver driver, something like this. Okay, and now see, the error is gone because whatever that is there in the class can be accessed by all the methods. Okay, see, now as I created it, see, in the class WebDriver driver, now the error is gone. So all the methods can access that variable inside that class. Okay, so see, let's save this and now run. Okay, and in @test we can write whatever that you want to verify. So what we'll do is, like, we want to verify whether this element is present or not. Okay, so I'll copy that and paste it there. Like we can again write that code, but as it is the same code, so I'm just copying it like this. So all we are doing is we are clicking on it, opening, like, and we are verifying whether this nav link your account is present or not. Okay, see, let's save this and run this test. Okay, so in method 2 I'm not doing anything. Okay, only in method 1 or test 1 I am like writing some code in there. I'm performing some validation. See, right click, debug as, sorry, run as JUnit test. See, @before class. Okay, and second one. See, like this. Okay, looks like it could not close it. So let's see what the problem is. Okay, but it executed it. See, without closing it, like what it did is it opened two of the browsers. So first it opened the first browser and then it opened the second browser. Okay, so let's close this and let's go back and see. And not only that, see, if you see the result, so I didn't put, like we did put some system.out.println. Okay, and if you go to the console, see, we can see that in @before class code and in @before code. Okay, and it launched the application. Then it went like what are the browser that we wanted. Then it went into the in @test1 code, and then it went into the in after @after code. Okay, because these are the methods which got executed. So somehow here it didn't close the driver. So let's see why it didn't close it. But then it executed before code, then whatever that was there in the test2, and it executed after code, and finally it executed the after class code. Okay, so let's try to see. And not only this, see, if you see here, like it created some JUnit, like if you see here, like you have a JUnit tab, and it will tell you like what test cases got failed and what test cases got passed also. Okay, and there are two tests, like see, test and test1, and it will also give you how much time it took for executing that specific lines of code or whatever the code that is there in that test. See, it says 11.885 seconds and 6.990 seconds. And if you see here, see, there is some error here. So in the failure trace, it will display the error. Okay, and it says Java null pointer exception @com test JUnit demo introduction. So looks like there was some error because of which it couldn't run down, and it says @com test tear down. So looks like there is something wrong in this code, so that's why it could not close the browser. Okay, so let's see what the problem is. WebDriver driver, then we don't need to define it again here, so I'll say driver equal to this. Yeah, okay, so WebDriver driver, then driver equal to new Internet Explorer, then driver.driver kill. Okay, so let's run this again and see. See, now it closed and it's launching the second one and it closed. See, now if you see, everything got executed, and see, this one is green, so it's not an error. Before it was failing. See, test 1 passed, test 2 passed. Okay, and what the problem was is, see, like I declared the variable here, and again what I did, I declared it here also. See, something like this. Okay, so by this what happened is, as we are defining the variable again inside that method, like it thought it is only because the life of that variable will be in that method itself, so it did not come out. So that's why it didn't know what this driver is. So as we already defined that WebDriver driver here, like we don't need to define it again here, so we can directly assign it to it. See, driver equal to new Internet Explorer driver. Okay, and again, even in the second test, see, you can have whatever the code that you want to. Let's say, for example, like we want to click on that your account link, then send keys email, then we want to click get the error message and display it. Okay, so we can do all these things. I can just copy and paste it there. See, like this. Okay, and it says thread.sleep is error, and just say throws exception declaration. Okay, I can say exception. Okay, like this. Okay, see, let's save it and run it again. Okay, see, it executed it, but looks like the first one got failed. So let's see what the problem is. And it says it could not find, oh, did I copy it in one? It says it could not find the element email. So let me see why the first one got failed. Because, oh, test 1 itself is failed. The second one itself is failed. Okay, maybe let's keep a wait here also. Thread.sleep for 2000 milliseconds. Okay, let's run it again. See, now it passed. So looks like there was a synchronization issue, so that's why it couldn't, like it failed, it was unable to find the object. So I just kept a thread.sleep of 2000 milliseconds, then it passed. Okay, see, now if I see here, all my test cases are passed. Okay, and even whatever the system.out.println that you put, that will be in the console here. See here, like this, and we cannot find an element, then pass whatever the messages that you want to put it there. Okay, so generally, like, we don't use the system.out.println for reporting the results. Instead, like if it is a JUnit, see, we'll put the JUnit, or we can also do like write this results into a Excel file, okay, or a text file, or like to some other whatever the external file that you want to. We can also write it to that location also. Okay, so like this is how we can use the JUnit. Okay, so these are the different annotations, and like for every functionality like that we want to create, like we'll create one JUnit test case and we'll do it like this. Okay, and mostly like JUnit is also used by the Java developers also, like when they want to debug their application, like when they want to debug their code or test their code, they use this JUnit framework itself, like all these annotations, and they'll create the class, or they will create the code and test their code. Okay, so not only this, like we will see the TestNG framework itself, like this is just an introduction and how we use the JUnit framework, but we will do more on JUnit TestNG itself, because that's what most of the companies use and most of the people use TestNG itself. But as we need to know the basic things of JUnit, like I covered this, all the annotations and how exactly the JUnit works. Okay, but there is a lot of things, again, even in JUnit also there are a lot of things. Okay, but as in case if the company is using JUnit as their automation, like for coding, then we need to know all the JUnit. But like I said, TestNG has more features and more functionalities than JUnit. Okay, even this TestNG is developed on JUnit itself, but it has more features and more functionality to it, so which will see the TestNG more into it. Okay, so as a basics of understanding the JUnit, like this is what we needed. Okay, so try to create some like methods and classes like this and try to practice it. Okay, how exactly this all these annotations work, try to practice it. Okay, so let me save this. Okay, any questions or is it clear? Okay, so let's save this. Okay, and close this. Okay, and like one more thing that I wanted to show you guys is the like using the Excel as the input for your scripts. Okay, so like now we know how to write the code and access the script. Okay, like or access the application with the help of the WebDriver, like how to enter the data, how to verify the data in the application. Okay, and like we also know how to read the data from the Excel file. Like let's say if you have an Excel file, like we can read the data from that external Excel file. Okay, see, let me open this. See, read Excel. Okay, so this code we already created. Okay, and we know how to read the data from that Excel file. And now like what we can do is, let's say we have a scenario or we have a test case which says that like you need to do whatever that you are doing it in the Amazon, like launching the application, verify a link, then enter your username, password, and check whether there is a error like this or not. Okay, and we may want to test this with different sets of application, like different sets of data. Okay, for example, let's say you are purchasing a ticket in your website. Okay, and like there are different to and from like destinations. See, for example, if I go to the demoaut.com, okay, or it's not opening, let's see, Expedia. See, when you go to the expedia.com and let's say we click on flights. Okay, so let's say if you are doing like manual testing, what we generally do, like you will select, like we will check whether you are able to purchase a ticket or not. Okay, like we'll select something, let's say IAD, okay, to somewhere, let's say Orlando. Okay, and we'll select different dates like departing, okay, and returning, like number of children, number of adults, and like whether all these details. Okay, and if you're like actually testing manually, like what we'll do, we'll test with one set of data, so this Washington to IAD, and we'll go and check whether the price, all the prices are displaying correctly or not. Okay, all the flights are displaying correctly or not, all the prices are displaying, whatever that is there in the database is correctly displayed in the application or not. Okay, so if you are doing it manually, what we'll do, we'll test with one set of data or two sets of data, like from DC to Orlando, from DC to, let's say, San Francisco, or DC to somewhere. Okay, and we'll go and check in the database how many records are there and how many records are displayed in the application. Okay, so that's what we do, but like that's what is called as parameterization. Okay, so testing the same thing but with different sets of data. Okay, even in the automation also we might need to do parameterization. Okay, that means what parameterization is, like the script will be only one, but the data that you are passing to the script is different every time. Okay, so the script, whatever that you created, is same. For example, with this like Amazon, so what we are doing here, see, we are saying selenium@test.com and we are entering some password to it. Okay, so tester, and we are verifying it whether it's a wrong data or not. Okay, so next time we might want to use the same script but with a different set of data. So instead of Selenium, I want to use Java Selenium. Okay, like let's say different set of data, like you want to test it with a manager login credentials and see whether application is working or not. Then you want to log in with a, let's say, director credentials and see how the application is working. Okay, we might need to log in with a salesman credentials and check whether application is working or not. Okay, so like this, like every application that we are testing, we might need to test it with different sets of data. Okay, and that is what is called as parameterization. Script or the code will be only one, but the data that you are passing is different for every execution. Okay, and if you are doing it manually, we might do a couple of scenarios, like let's say 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 destinations, like 10 sets of data. Okay, but in these kinds of scenarios, like we might need to test like hundreds and thousands of data. Okay, so from Washington DC, you can go to any places in the world. Okay, and from, let's say, DCA, you can go to some other places. From SFO, you can go to like whole world. Okay, let's say 50 destinations, 100 destinations, so like that. So if you see the combination, there will be lots of data. Okay, so thousands of data from one place to other place, like that. Okay, so we cannot test all these things manually. Instead, what we'll do is we'll do the automation, and once you create the script, all we need to do is just parameterize the data, and that data you can pass it from any of your input sources. Like input sources in the sense, you can put all the data into a text file and you can read it, and then you can enter in the application and verify. Okay, or you can put it into an Excel file, or you can put it into a database, and from your script you can connect to database, execute the query, get them, and then pass it in the application and compare it. Okay, so this is what is called as parameterization, and for that reason, like, you can use any of your input files to pass the data. And now, as we know how to read the data from an Excel file, and also we know how to enter that data into the application, let's try to do it both together and try to create our scripts. Okay, and use it as a parameterization. Okay, so what I'll do is, see, whatever the Excel code that we have, I'll use the same code. Okay, and then, like, whatever the Amazon script that we have, let's try to use this code and like read the data from that Excel file and use that data and pass it here in our script. Okay, so how to do that is, see, let's see. So we have Excel code. See, we are passing the file path, so it's in the Satish Selenium at some location. So I'll open that. Selenium, then, oh, looks like that folder is gone. So let me create a new folder and I'll say to be deleted. Just like one folder, and we have some file in there. New Excel, and I'll say test data. Okay, and open the file, and let's say first column has username, second one has password. Okay, so first one is username and password. Like I want to test the error conditions. Like what we are doing in this script is in the Amazon we are just entering a wrong username and wrong password, and we are checking whether that message is displayed or not. Okay, or error message is displayed or not. So I'll give some wrong username, let's say tst something at test.com. Okay, password is tester1. Then selenium test at test.com, testsilly.com. Okay, tester2, like this. Okay, let's say we have two sets of data. So let me save it, go back. Okay, so now see here we are reading it. So if you see the cell, like see all we are doing is just we have cell dot get string value, and we are just doing a system.out.println, and we are displaying it. Instead what we can do is, see, I can store it here. Let's say user name equal to, or I need to say string username equal to this. Okay, so string username equal to this. Sorry. Okay, and then okay, or instead of username we'll say cell value. Okay, actually we have two of them, so cell value, and then we'll come here. Okay, so let's debug it once and see how the data is coming. So I'll keep a breakpoint somewhere here on the switch, and I'll run it. Okay, and I'll run it in the debug mode. So let me close the Excel and save this file first. Okay, right click, debug as Java application. Say yes. Okay, it came here. See, step over F6, then getting the cell. Okay, see, actually as we are starting from the first row, like we are getting the username, then okay, so then we are going to the second cell, and we are getting the value password. Okay, so we are getting the cell by cell, like row by row. So once you do this, see, it comes here. So let's stop it and go back to the Java view. See, after this we have to say let's store it somewhere, or we can directly use it in the application also. So here itself, like we can call, like we can create some method or something, whatever that is there in this Java, like launching the browser and everything, and we can call it there. See, what I'll do is I'll copy all this code, or before this, here itself I'll create one method. Okay, see, let's say, let's give some name to it, like public void. Okay, and the name, let's say verify Amazon. Okay, public void verify Amazon, and in this I can have all my code. see, launching the application, then navigation, link. Okay, so till here, let's say. Okay, and see, like this. Okay, and thread.sleep is throwing an error, so I'll add that throws declaration, and I can select exception. Okay, and then finally driver dot close, just to close the browser, so every time. Okay, and to this I'll pass two variables because like it needs a username and password. So I'll say username comma password. Okay, so string username and string password. String username and string password. So, and I'll pass these values here. See, instead of java@selenium.com, instead of hard coding it, see, I'll pass this username and I'll pass this password here. Okay, so as it is a variable, we should not pass in the double quotes. If you pass it in the double quotes, then it will treat that as a string. Okay, and if you pass the name like this, then it will treat it as a variable. Okay, so like this. Okay, so let's not get the password and just give this. Okay, instead, and I'll call this method here. See, okay, after getting the values, I think, okay, here, see, verify Amazon, and I'll say like whatever the cell value that you are getting it here. Okay, I'll only pass the cell value. Okay, let me define it outside. Okay, or else I just say username. Okay, and pass this username here. All I'm doing is just creating one method. And I'll say somewhere here string username. Save it. Is it throwing an error? Okay. Now you can say public. Okay, so this one is throwing an error. Let's see. Okay, actually, as there are two variables, so let's say I'll say tester1. Okay, so one is username and the other one is tester1. It says again change Amazon to static. Okay. Again one more error. Okay, unhandled exception, that's fine. Okay, see, everything is done. Okay, so from the Excel I'll only pass the username, not the password. So as I'm only reading one value, see, delete, and let's also not have the column name for now. Okay, we can handle those things, but like for now, just to keep it simple, I'm just giving the two usernames in there. So let's close this and debug. Let's debug it and see if it is working correctly or not. See, right click, debug as Java application. Okay, see, it came here. So let's go into the step. Then here. See, we got the first username, and then we are storing that value into the username, and we have a break. Okay, then see, it came here. So now we are calling the verify Amazon method that we just created it. See, step into, I'll go into that function. Okay, see, now whatever the code that is there in that method, it's going to execute it. So now we are creating the property, then we are creating the driver, like Internet Explorer driver. Okay, and see, then driver dot navigate get, then thread dot sleep. See, we are checking for that element, then home page verification is true. See, then finding the element, then entering the username, password, and see, then thread dot sleep. Okay, so in the background it's doing everything. See. Okay, so pass, whatever the error message that we have, we found it. Okay, so like that. So now driver dot close. See, the browser has been closed. Now it will go for the second row. See, it's displaying line, and then it goes to the second row. Now again, even in the second row, it goes and gets the cell value, see, and break. Then again calls the Amazon method, see, F5, step into, and see, launch. So again, same thing, it will open the browser. Okay, so I'm just trying to do this so we can see the steps in the background. See, then step over and thread dot sleep. See, like this. See, entering that username, password, like this. Okay, getting the error message, like this. Okay, see, now the code, everything is done, so it came out of the code. See, like this. Okay, so in this way, like, we can also parameterize it, like you can read the data from the Excel file and you can create your own method and you can pass it. As we didn't create the object of that specific class, see, that's why it asked us to change it to static, so which I changed it. And this method is not returning any value, so I put it as void, and I did make it as a public so that we can see that all, like we can see that or use that method in the whole class. Okay, and we created one variable called username, because in the main method we are getting the value and we are passing that into this Amazon method, so that's why I created it, and that username, and we created, and we are directly passing the tester1 value. We are not using it from the Excel, instead we are directly passing it from here, or if needed, like we can also pass it from the Excel also and read it from there too. Okay, so this is how, like, we can use the Excel as well as use the WebDriver and parameterize it. Okay, so this is what, like, one of the methods of parameterizing the code or testing the application in a with different sets of data. Okay, any questions? Is it clear?